see you there. I was reading my favourite book while I'm waiting for the bus to run. Here, let me read you a bit of it. It's High Stakes Coltrane. This is chapter 8. Alright, Alana sat in her car for a few minutes after the sheriff released her. Her heart still pounded at the accusation. How could that waitress mistake a simple conversation about a purchase of a string of barrel raiser stock for Alana threatening her father? Panic and adrenaline rushing through her. She rubbed her temple. It was true. Mr. Bellows looked a little like Eldridge Colton. In fact, she had thought that when she first seen him, she barely knew the man, but he was now instrumental in clearing her of this allegation. The feeling of being once again completely alone in a situation washed over her. Really, there was something so basic about relying on the people you loved. But when she thought about how this made her look guilty, she couldn't help but wonder who might be behind it. Then she remembered Jake and how he'd comforted her last night, and the way that had settled right into her bones and into her heart. He was a third party, someone outside her family's influence, and he made her knees weak. Was that smart? No. So not smart, but it was an irrefutable fact. Of course, he could have an ulterior motive. She couldn't be sure she wasn't after her name recognition, favours, and money. All of the above. It just didn't feel like that, you know what I mean? Nah, Jake made her feel things she'd never felt before. Things that made her feel safe and oh so good. Safe. That was an alien concept. She leaned her head back against the headrest and closed her eyes. Mr. Bellows would clear her. There was nothing to worry about. She'd had lunch with him at the Meddlesome Butterfly. Plenty of people saw them, but that waitress had said she'd threatened her father. How many people in the restaurant thought Mr. Bellows was her father? She had picked up the check because it was a business meeting she had requested. She wanted to keep it on the QT. Her plans for the stables hung in the balance. She started the car and drove out of the sheriff's office and headed directly to Hugh Barrington. Once seated at his desk, her father's attorney stapled his fingers together, looking thoughtful. "This sounds like it could be a problem," he said, his gaze going laser sharp. "I'm not a criminal attorney, Alana, but I can refer you to a very good one here in Dallas." Let me turn the page and somehow speak with my mouth full. It's very rude. "That would be something, Hugh," she said, her voice tight. He leaned forward and grabbed her a picture of clear liquid from a tray and poured a glass. Getting up, he came around the desk and put it into her hands. There's still no word on Eldridge. She accepted the glass. "This isn't gin, is it?" He shook his head. "Water, but I do have something a bit stronger, if you'd like." She took a sip, the cool liquid soothing her parched throat. "No, I better not. I'm distraught and driving." He clasped his hand against her shoulder and gave it a squeeze. "No, nothing on the father. I'm so very worried about him." She pressed her hand to her chest. "I understand, but at this point, all we can do is wait. There does seem to be some indication of foul play, as your family hasn't received a ransom note." A few minutes later in her car, she mulled over what he had said as she drove back to Golden Valley Ranch. She couldn't agree with him more. She swallowed, a shiver going down her spine, her stomach so tied in knots. What was going on? With her father? With this whole mess? Was he dead? She entered the gates, pressing everything back, and drove up to the house, parking her car in the massive garage. She headed straight back to the barns and the arena. As she entered, Tamara was working the horses. She immediately dismounted when she saw Alana. Thank God! I was so worried when the sheriff said he needed to come with him. You're not under arrest, are you? Not yet. That's all my nurse. It's terrible. And I'm not really sure what to do or think at this point. Do you want me to take over here? Why don't you do something peaceful this afternoon? You never take enough time off, Alana. Really? Get Mrs. Morley to fix you up a basket and go have some downtime at the creek. The bluebells will be blooming this time of year. Tamara got a slight gleam in her eyes. And sunflowers, be ashamed to miss that. She nudged her. It would do you good. I can handle anything that comes up here. Yeah. The creek was a very peaceful place, and it was true. She hadn't had a day off in a very long time. She did have to work out what she was going to do about Fowler threatening to sell her stock before it was ready, and also figure out what she was going to do if he continued to treat her like she was nothing more than a figurehead. That wasn't going to suit her at all. Quite frankly, she deserved the respect he was withholding. I think that will do. My bar's ready. Good night. She'd had lunch with him at the meddlesome buffet. Oh, no. Once seated at the desk, her father's attorney. What?
What? Okay.
I'm not a criminal attorney. Ooh.
I'm really not.
Jesus. Thank God. I was so worried when the sheriff and Do you want to take me over here? Why don't you do something peaceful this afternoon?
Oh wait, hold on. That's not what it said. Do you want to take me
Over here?
No.
You never take your time. She did have to go to work out.
No, I'm just gonna have to swap hands again, aren't I? I'm gonna have to face the truth. It's just pain. Just sheer pain.